Hello everyone, my name is Michaela Rodriguez and my signature assignment is on psychopaths in the prefrontal cortex. To get into it, we're going to start with the definition of psychopathy. For starters, psychopathy is not a formal diagnosis, meaning that it is not recognized in the DSM-5 as a disorder. The diagnosis usually given to individuals who are psychopaths is antisocial personality disorder. Psychopathy is often used in a criminal or psychological context as well. Common symptoms of psychopathy are lack of empathy, lack of guilt and remorse, impulsivity, lack of long-term goals or plans, poor behavioral control, persistent rule-breaking or criminal activity, pathological lying, manipulative tendencies, and superficial charm. Some famous examples of psychopaths are Charles Manson, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, and Aileen Wuornos. All of these people have formally been diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder as well. These people were all serial killers and lacked the remorse or empathy of a person without ASPD. The prefrontal cortex, or PFC, is the front part of the frontal lobe of the brain, located just behind the forehead. It plays a crucial role in higher-level cognitive function, decision-making, and personality expression. Some of the functions of the PFC are executive functions such as planning and decision-making, social and emotional regulation like empathy, working memory, impulse control, and attention and focus. The specific parts of the PFC that directly relate to the behavior of psychopaths is the ventral medial prefrontal cortex, VMPFC, which plays a role in emotional regulation and decision-making related to personal or social consequences, and the anterior cingulate cortex, which plays a role in reward, punishment, pain, negative affect, empathy, error detection, performance monitoring, and cognitive control. A famous example of the link between the PFC and psychopathy is Phineas Gage. In 1848, railroad foreman Phineas Gage suffered a TBI, a traumatic brain injury, when a 13-pound iron tamping rod went through his frontal lobe. Gage survived the accident, conscious and speaking shortly after the incident, but his personality was completely changed. What was once a dependable, trustworthy man, Gage had become disrespectful, profane, impulsive, and unreliable. He began showing traits of psychopathy after the accident, leading scientists at the time to make the connection between personality and the frontal lobe of the brain. Psychopathy has a devastating effect on society, particularly through crime. Because of the dysfunction in the VMPFC, psychopaths are much more likely to engage in illegal activity and commit crimes. It is estimated that the prevalence of psychopathy is about 1% in the general population, but 15 to 25% in the U.S. adult prison system. Compared to prisoners without psychopathy, psychotic prisoners have significantly higher rates of violent crime and recidivism. Psychopathy and the PFC don't have a lot in common with veterinary medicine, but one big connection I can make is people with psychopathy tend to abuse animals. Because of the lack of empathy and remorse, psychopaths hurt animals, whether they are the owners or they are hurting other people's pets. This becomes a veterinarian's problem once the owner brings in the injured or deceased animals. I have always had an interest in psychopathy and the parts of the brain that dysfunction in the way to cause psychopathy. Psychology has always been very interesting to me, and I will continue to do my own research to further my knowledge. Important takeaways from this presentation are that dysfunctions in the VMPFC and the ACC are the main causes of psychopathy, that antisocial personality disorder is the official diagnosis of psychopathy, and that psychopaths have a tendency to commit crimes and more often than not violent crimes, and that psychopaths make up 15 to 25% of the adult male prison population. I think that the research that has gone into the connection between the prefrontal cortex and psychopathy is extremely important to society. It is not necessarily important for the common person to know, but I think that it is extremely important to further our research and understanding of the topic. These are my references, and that concludes my signature assignment on psychopaths and the prefrontal cortex. Thank you.